Attention small business owners, sales professionals, and network marketers. What I want to talk about in this video is how to become an influencer without being half naked. You're not a Kardashian. I think sometimes people think influence is just having a lot of followers. But like I can use my TikTok as an example. I have 2,500 followers, but I got 70,000 likes, and I could only imagine how many comments I have on the content that I provide. Well, I'll go to another person's page. They have 20,000 followers, and they got like 8,000 likes because nobody cares about the content. A lot of times, it's just women that are posting a lot of selfies, a lot of videos of themselves, and you're gonna get followers because men are thirsty. So men are perverts, and they're gonna want to basically engage with your content. And some of you ladies that are watching this, I think the best advice I can give you before I go into the content is try to do your best to build a bigger following of women, right? Because a lot of times men, they never engage. The only time I see men engage with other people's posts or women's posts specifically is when they basically post a selfie of themselves and they're in the comments, you're beautiful, you're hot, you're amazing, I love you, will you marry me? All this stupid stuff. So basically to be an influencer, you need to get engagement. It don't matter about, again, how many people follow you. It's that you have people engaging, talking on your posts, DMing you, messaging you, basically really getting involved with the stuff that you post. So let's talk about the first one. First one is entertain. Anybody that follows me on social media at all, you know that most of the content I post out is pretty entertaining, right? And I've had people question me like, well, if you do Facebook advertisement, if you help people with their social media, why do you always post memes, talking trash or funny memes? Because at the end of the day, that is what gets the most engagement. And since I know my audience, because in every single platform, you can go to your studio, your dashboard, your analytics, and you can look at who follows you. You could actually see age, you could see whether it's men or women, and you could even see the top cities. So one of the things you should do is go into your back office, look at who follows you, because there's a lot of times I'll work with a client, and especially when it's a woman, and like 80 to 90% of the people that follow them are men. Then they sell makeup, and they're wondering why nobody online is buying it, because you only attract, and the only people that follow you are men. So it doesn't make any sense, right? So the first thing is entertain, right? I post videos, and when I say entertain, one of the things I do, when I'm going through social media, I'll find a meme that's hilarious to me, it's my personality. And if it's targeted and it's probably relates more to women, whether it's relationships or basically calling out women how crazy they are, whatever the case may be. I already know my audience. That's why I'm going to post the content to the people that already follow me, right? So for women that have men following you, what could you really post to get their attention that's not a selfie and not a video of you at the gym or whatever that you post that you get all the engagement, right? Plus, is that going to make you any money, right? So the first thing is entertain. So when I see a meme, I don't share that meme from the person's page that I seen it. I save it, then I post it as my own. Why? Because two reasons. One, because the algorithm doesn't like shared content. They won't see it as much as if you post your own content. People are following to see what you want to talk about versus what other people are talking about. And I see a lot of people do this. They just share other people's content all day and they don't get no likes, they don't get no engagement because, again, probably one, they don't see it. And people want to know what's on your mind. They want to know your opinion. They want to know your personality, right? So if you're going to do the entertainment game, which is what I pretty much do, and then I'll throw some business videos there every once in a while, people would ask, why would I do that? Well, because again, if I don't get your attention at all, then when I do post a video about business, you're probably not going to watch it because you weren't watching my content anyways. But if I can get the engagement by entertaining you or posting stuff that makes you laugh or have conversations or talk in the threads, then now when I do post a video that has to do with business, then they'll watch it because now they already know who I am. They already are watching me and paying attention, right? Number two, which is really important, probably the most important out of everything I'm gonna talk about, education, right? Most business owners don't educate, right? I posted the other day, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he eats forever, right? And most people in your industry right now, whatever you sell, are selfish. The only thing they do is post all day, I'm trying to sell you something, I'm trying to sell you something, I'm trying to sell you something. And nobody cares, right? You need to be 80% PBS and 20% QVC. And if anybody doesn't know that reference, that means more education, less trying to sell to people, right? So, but here's the biggest thing that I don't know why people don't do this. So let's say you're a real estate agent, right? you should do a video that says the 3 mistakes people make when buying a home, right? You're giving them great content, you're teaching them something, and if they actually learn something from it, odds are they're gonna watch more of your content, but odds are they're gonna reach out to you when they're ready to go buy or sell a home, right? So I see a lot of real estate agents, they post a lot of pictures of houses, and sometimes they'll post pictures of closing houses, but they never post anything educational. They don't teach us anything, right? If I was a makeup artist, right, I would do a tutorial or a video talking about the 3 makeups that are dangerous for your face and it might fall off, right? Now me, when I make headlines, and it's the most important part if you're making a video, then I always talk about, for me personally, I always say something, the headline's the most important of the video because you gotta get people to at least wanna watch it, right? So, educate, right? Spend more time coming up with content that educates the marketplace, because then it shows you that you're the expert, shows you that you're the leader, and then if they ever have a question about that marketplace that you're in, they're gonna ask you because they've already consumed some of your content, right? So most of the people that hired me to do advertisement, help them with social media, help them with recruiting, whatever it is they need me to help them, trust me when I say they've already watched a couple of my videos, so they already consumed enough of my content that they say, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I think I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he can help me with my business, right? That is the purpose. But I see a lot of business owners that don't do any content educating the marketplace on anything, which means that then why would they go to you? Because you sell houses, because you sell makeup, because you sell a health and wellness product. Education is top, right? Out of all the things I talk about, that's what you should be spending most of your time putting together content. But again, you gotta get the eyes, you gotta know your market, you gotta know who is following you, who's paying attention to you, so then you know what kind of content you should post, right? And the next one, inspire, right? So when I first got on Facebook, and we're talking about years back, this is after MySpace kind of faded out and I got onto Facebook, I was posting a lot of more motivational stuff, and actually one of my friends asked me, he's like, hey man, whatever happened to you posting the motivational stuff? I love that. I love it too. Unfortunately, it doesn't get any engagement. Anytime I post something motivational, something like deep, people 3-4 likes, but if I post something like women are crazy because of X, or women are dating a guy because of X, then I'll get tons of engagement because that relates to them and that's what they're concerned about and that's what they're thinking about right now. Versus motivation, it works, right? It worked when I first got on social media and people were calling me a life coach, and I'm like, what's a life coach, right? I've met some life coaches and it looks like they need a life coach. Just saying. And I actually did a video about that and got a lot of pushback. A lot of life coaches came at me and they said, oh, what do you know? And blah, 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 whatever, right? Because the next one is inspire. That could be one of your things to do, that you want to just motivate people all day. But that's usually going to work more towards women for the most part. So if that's the kind of thing you're in, then basically you start building a following of women. And then the last one is instigate, right? In the marketplace, what we're supposed to be talking about, whatever it is that you sell, doesn't matter. You're supposed to be talking more about the problem and not about the solution. But too many business owners are online right now talking about the solution, talking about what you sell, talking about what you sell. Nobody cares. You should spend more time instigating and talking about the pain points of what they are going through, so then they come to you for the solution. But you really gotta go home and deliver with the pain, and then you gotta twist the knife, right? And if anybody pays attention to any of my social media, I'm definitely an instigator, and I definitely find ways to trigger people, and I don't do it purposely, but I do it because, well, I'll take that back. I do it purposely, but I do it not to piss people off. I do it because I want people to think. So like even when I first got on the scene, when I talked about business, I was talking trash about networking events. I was talking trash about people doing table events. I was talking trash about people buying SEO. I was talking about everything that business owners do that's wrong. I actually had a video called The 7 Deadly Sins that every business owner falls victim to, and it's not necessarily your fault. And I talked about what most business owners do, pretty much using content to instigate, because anybody that watches the video, they're pretty much like, damn, he's making a lot of good points and I'm doing all this stuff right now, right? So what I wanted to make a point in this video, in order to become an influencer doesn't just mean you have a following, it means you have engagement, right? Because I know people have bigger following me, but I get more engagement because I post content that actually gets people to say, I want to comment on that, right? So here's what you need to know. You don't have to get half naked. You don't have to be half naked all the time. You don't have to keep posting cute selfies to get engagement, because the people that you're trying to get the engagement from are not the ones that are just trying to date you, if that makes any sense. Hope you guys learned from this video. If you have any questions, DM me or put a comment below.